Design tip. Ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Design tip. Iteration, iteration, iteration. If you don't have at least 5 iterations of the same idea, you haven't found the best one yet. I'm going to read that one more time, just for the unbelievers at the back. Iteration, iteration, iteration. If you haven't had at least 5 iterations of the same idea, you haven't found the best one yet. P.S. This is my opinion, and I'm willing to die by it. Okay, let's get into it. So, the concept of iteration is one of the most powerful concepts, period. Whether you're doing design or you're trying to create anything, start a business, trying to improve something, iterating over ideas quickly over a given period of time is more likely to lead you to a desired outcome. Now, let me tell you a scenario and let me know if you've experienced it before. You're staring at the screen, you're trying to do designs, but you're trying to make the decisions in your head. So you think of a blue button and you go like, oh no, blue will not look right. And you think of a yellow button and you think like, oh no, yellow will not look right. Or you think of like, let's left align, like that's not going to work. And you keep going through these mental cycles of actually trying to make the decisions before you put them on screen. You stay there for 20 minutes and then finally put something on screen and then you go like, that doesn't look right. And then you start the process all over again. First of all, let me know in the comment section if you've experienced that before. But it used to happen to me a lot, and that's because I was trying to do the design in my head instead of simply putting the design on the screen and seeing whether it works or not. So in that 20 minutes of trying to like juggle these different ideas in my head, I simply could have put the yellow button on screen, put the blue button on screen, left align, right align, and actually see if it's going to do what I think it will do. Because what you think in your head is often very different from the reality when you actually put it on screen. So one of the quickest ways to be able to get to really good ideas really fast is just to make quick iterations of the exact same idea. You can do this for sections, you can do this for components, you can do this for like entire pages, because you're able to see the thing and then you're able to compare if it works or not. Now, on the note of comparison, I want to say something else that is really important. When you're creating iterations, create copies of the page or the screen or whatever it is you're doing. Don't do multiple iterations on the same page, because what's happening is that if you do multiple iterations on the same page, you don't have any of the other ideas on the screen, so you can't really know if what you have now is better than what you had before. And the whole point of iteration is so that you can actually see all the different ideas you have and compare them and go like, okay, that one is good and that one is better. So make sure that you're creating quick copies of the different screens that you're using, and then tweaking and testing different ideas out. Now, to even make it more practical, I want you to tell yourself, until I've gotten to 5 iterations, I'm not done. Give yourself that constraint, because your brain can trick you into thinking that, oh, you already have the best idea. But just keep going until you find like the right idea, or until you've gotten to that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th iteration. And then you can look back and go like, okay, how do I now compare the different ideas I have? Which ones work? What combinations of things can really work? I want to give you very practical reasons why you should actually stick to this idea of iteration when you're doing design. Number one, you move faster. If you put things on screen, you actually get to see them. You actually get to make decisions quicker as opposed to it living in your head. So in 20 minutes, you can make a lot more progress if you're putting your ideas out there as opposed to just trying to think of everything in 20 minutes before making a decision. But number two, this is where I think it's really, really amazing. If you're a freelancer or if you're working in a team, right, it helps you do better reviews. Because here's oftentimes what happens. When you finally settle on a screen, on a design option, or just on a variation of a solution as a designer, you have to go and then present that to a bunch of different people. That could be your team, that could be the business owner, that could be somebody else that you're working with, your supervisor, whomever. And oftentimes when you present those ideas to them, they will have opinions. Oh, how about this? How about that? How about this? Sometimes you may have tried all those things already, right? But then if you don't keep copies of them, how do you actually explain to them, now look, I tried it and it didn't work, right? So having multiple iterations of what you're doing documented actually allows you to go through the feedback process quickly, because unless people have seen it, ideas always feel better in our minds, right? So if you have the iteration, somebody goes like, oh, have you tried the blue button on that? Like, yep, I did that, this is what it looks like. Have you tried the yellow button on that? Yep, I did that, that's what it looks like. In fact, this happened to me very recently on a project. I was working on a website, I sent over like an option to the client, and then they had all these different ideas about what I could have done better and what could have improved. Luckily for me, I documented every single iteration I did. So all I had to do was pull it up. Have you tried this? Yes, we have. Have you tried that? Yes, I have. Have you tried that? I have. 90% of the time, we conclude that some of these ideas are just not going to work. But 10% of the time, we find something that I've already done that I overlooked or thought wasn't going to work. But they can take a look and go like, oh, we actually think that's going to work, right? So beyond just helping you move faster, it actually allows you to do better reviews, to have better reviews with your team or your business stakeholders when you're going through different presentations. Now, let's get to the practical bit. The idea of iterations is so common, it's so powerful, it's so popular that Google documented a version of it in the design sprint system called the Crazy 8, where you draw 8 boxes and give yourself 2 minutes per box, and you are tasked to create quick iterations of the same thing over the duration of that time. I'm going to put a link to that in the comment section of this video somewhere in the description. Check it out, read about it, try it out. But I know for interface design, if you're designing like a whole page or a whole flow, 8 can be too much, right? So let's create our own version. Let's call it the Mat 5, right? Crazy 8 Mat 5. See what I did there? You know, let's call it the Mat 5, where you tell yourself that no matter the idea, even if you feel like you've gotten to the best idea, you're going to create 5 iterations before you make a decision or before you attempt to make a decision. I find that it really helps to allow you get to the best ideas. Sometimes that could even be the first idea you had, but you can't really tell until you've done the other iterations. So that is all I have in this particular video. Iterations, iterations, iterations. So remember, if you don't have 5 iterations, you don't have the idea yet. You don't have the best idea, right? So let me know in the comment section if you've actually tried to do this before. Let me know your experience with iterations. If you're somebody who actually iterates, put a thumbs up. If you're somebody who don't iterate and just, go straight and get it, put a fire emoji so we know that you are the miracle workers of our generation, so we can come and find you and get inspiration. But I'm serious. Iterations, guys. You know how it is. I'll see you with the next one. Cheers. Wait, we need to get a proper outro. I don't have a proper outro. But just subscribe. Like, do something. Share, comment, subscribe. I don't know. Just do something. I'll see you guys in the next videos. Cheers.